Good afternoon everyone, and thank you for your time today. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Edwina Gadsby and I have recently just started as the Southern Sales Manager for BASF, looking after the southern states of Australia but also New Zealand. I've also just returned from an 8-month stint in New Zealand, living in the Waikato, and understand those environmental pressures that you are faced on a day-to-day basis and the pest pressures that occur at specific times of the year. So within this presentation today, we will be looking at reducing environmental impacts and how we as BASF can assist you as a business. We'll be looking at this through 2 products that we have on the market today. And we'll start with Termidor 100 SC. This is an insecticide that provides you as pest controllers with superior control across a broad range of external pests, such as ants, cockroaches, spiders and flies, in particular ants. The product provides significant advantages over other insecticides on the market, including a new flexible use rate, which we'll be going into shortly. Termidor's unique transfer effect ensures that powerful active ingredient can be passed effectively throughout the pest population, ensuring that pests continue to interact with one another with minimal disturbance in their behaviour. Therefore, we're eliminating colonies, not just single pests themselves, which equates to long-term residual control and reduced callbacks for you as a business, which is what we all want. As mentioned, we have a new flexible use rate, which is aimed at being a more targeted approach. We're not going and spraying the complete surfaces. We're looking at using hotspots or completing a band spray treatment. 300 up, 300 out. We have then significant environmental benefits as we're not using nearly as much chemical on these particular jobs. We are saving the time because we're only spraying these specific areas, but also the cost of these jobs because we're only using the amount of chemical that is required for these specific jobs. The new label and use rates are illustrated just here. This really gives you the flexibility as a business to control what is best for that job. For example, you can use 6 millilitres of Termidor sprayed 2 times a year, or you can use 3 millilitres sprayed 4 times a year, or you can use 6 millilitres sprayed once a year and 3 mils twice a year. The decision is completely up to you, and it really puts that flexibility back onto you as a business and what works for you best. We will now move into Cilantro and discuss the environmental benefits that this product has. Cilantro provides an alternative to an anticoagulant bait with a low risk and non-target secondary poisoning, along with favourable environmental benefits, which will be further explained to you through a video. Cilantro has a stop feeding effect which prevents affected rodents from finding the non-bait food sources and consuming additional bait when not needed, which reduces bait wastage and reduces the number of treatments required. We have also seen that this product adopted and trusted by a number of local councils, and it's also been specifically asked for through a number of tenders that telecommunication companies, for example, have put out. I would now like to introduce to you a number of special guests within this video. We have Oliver, Madge and Adrian Meyer, who are the rodent control consultants. We have Claudio Salem, who's the technical director, along with Sharon Hughes, who's the global technical marketing manager for BASF. Enjoy.
My name is Oliver Madge. I am an industry consultant. We will go in and analyse sites where they have problems. We're in Hampshire, which is a high resistance area.
So we came here to understand alternatives for anticoagulants baiting because it's an environmental problem.
We've relied now for 50 years for rodent control on the anticoagulants, and we're starting to develop problems with them, both from a resistance point of view and increasingly evidence about environmental contamination.
The resistance to anticoagulants is widespread, particularly in Europe. And what's that led to is that anticoagulants have become more potent to combat this. So now we're at a critical point where you cannot make them more potent because it's not safe.
We have not had a viable acute or semi-acute poison. Most of them have been chronics and most of them have been anticoagulants.
Our major concern is about wildlife and environment contamination because of the long persistence time of anticoagulants on the field.
We have rats that have enhanced neophobia. 50 years of controlling them in exactly the same way has resulted in a selection of rats that are very careful indeed.
Over the last 40 years, I've had several bites at field trial in cholecalciferol, and the control rates have been particularly poor, right. 40, 50%, 60% at best. I was extremely sceptical that we would ever see a bait which would be a usable rodenticide.
Cilantro is a super palatable, efficacious, easy-to-use, resistance-busting bait. Complete control with Cilantro can be achieved in 7 days. Resistance to Cilantro is virtually impossible. Cholecalciferol is traditionally thought to be an unpalatable active, so we needed to counterbalance that with a really palatable bait base. So all our time and effort and expertise went into developing this super palatable bait.
Selontra, because of the different mode of action, put us in another level to have another kind of choice. We have a product that can bring us benefits without too many environmental costs.
I was very impressed with the results, but for somebody who's been working in southern and central southern England most of his life and having to face problems with rat resistance and mice resistance, it's lovely to have the potential for a different mode of action, something that we can go in, we're not going to be selecting for more resistance, and indeed we can manage resistant populations with reduced environmental risk. We've achieved 90% mortality control in 18 days, and that's so rapid, and it reflects the difference in the Cilantro, the speed of activity of Cilantro.
That, for me, is the major breakthrough. I think I would say that it's the major breakthrough in my 40 years in the business, is that we now have a non-anticoagulant that will take out resistant rats. The rate that it took such a large infestation down so quickly is a technician's dream, really.
You can see in the video that Cilantro has a lower environmental impact and risk profile compared to standard anticoagulant baits. I'd now like to move us to the Roadshow Offer and the prize that BASF would like to give away. You can enter this by simply purchasing 1 5-kilo bucket of Cilantro or 1 litre of Termidor, and you'll automatically get it put in the draw to win a 2.5 litre Rega sprayer valued at $450. So get in, purchase the product, and we wish you all the best. Thank you for your time today, and I would now like to pass over to Phil to continue. Thanks.